Hey guys, can I show you something really cool? Okay, so here's the team I play, right? Teemo, Illaoi with double down fuse. So Illaoi, right? Most of the time when she does a combo, she wants to end it into her tentacle super. This is just really great Oki. You can do stuff to your opponent. You can even grab them midway through and you'll get a combo because it'll turn back into the tentacle that gives you a follow-up off of your normal throw. It's a really strong super, but there are two things about it. One, it's a super, obviously, so it costs you a bar of meter. And while that is fine, like there's nothing wrong with spending meter to get a strong super, a lot of characters like Teemo like doing Oki that doesn't require them to spend bar. They just do something like this and they have Oki, and obviously that's not as strong as tentacle super, but you can always do it. But another thing about this is how she goes into tentacle super, because a majority of the time you're gonna be doing it after this like dive down move. And one thing about doing the super is it's not like the biggest deal, but a lot of people will burst. I shouldn't say a lot of people, but there are some people that will burst you on that ground bounce. And if someone bursts you and you've done your super, you'll still spend the bar, but it'll get rid of your Oki. And I hate this, if I'm honest. I hate that there's something that people can do to potentially get out of this Oki and also make me spend the bar. So I was like, man, what could I do? I could spend my assist while I do it so that if they broke, I would be able to tag. And I was doing that for a while, actually, so that I could tag and then, you know, punish someone after they get broken. But I was like, man, you know what would be awesome? So some of you might not know about the mechanic Limit Strike. Basically, there are certain moves in the game that when you do them, they'll cause this strange like animation where the opponent has this like white outline. And what's cool about this, besides the fact that it gives you like a set kind of Oki, is if you'll see my meter and my break meter, it gives me both of those resources. But it also has the added benefit of when your opponent is in that, they're not allowed to break, which is awesome. So I was like, man, maybe it would be awesome if I could get Illaoi to do Limit Strike and then go into that Oki. But there's a problem with that. Illaoi doesn't have great Limit Strike options in order to do that. She has this, for one. Her charge 2H is a Limit Strike option, but your opponent is airborne. And while that's not the worst thing in the world, it's not what I was looking for because I want them to be grounded. But it is beneficial because then they can't do get up attack. But you know, you can already bait get up attack with this super, so that's not the biggest deal. She also has this upwards tentacle. If you do this twice, it also limit strikes, which is pretty cool. The thing about this though is it requires you to have a second tentacle. So even at the end of a combo, if I wanted to do this, I couldn't. And you'll see the second thing about this is if you do a really long combo, if you do the upwards tentacle, it just won't connect into the grounded tentacle thing. It just won't work. So you can't use that for a limit strike. She also has this charge back heavy. This actually will limit strike if you hit it twice, but like hitting someone backwards isn't something that I've been able to make a combo for. I'm sure something exists, but I haven't been able to find it. So I was like, well, damn, I mean, is Illaoi able to go into Limit Strike, or is she just not? Because I would love to go into Limit Strike and then do that super. But I was like, oh, you know what I could do is Limit Strike with another character and then tag into Illaoi. That would actually work, and they wouldn't be able to break out of that. And Teemo has a really good thing to Limit Strike with. It's this sonic ball attack. So what I've been doing is this. I'll put them on the ground with Teemo's butt slam. I'll OTG them, call Illaoi assist, and then do 2 of the spin attacks. And what's good about this is you'll see I get 2 tentacles to use my tentacle super with, which just makes the Oki super so much more powerful. It's not like the most insane thing, but I'm like, this is the best form of the Oki that I could get. But there's a really rough thing about doing this. And it's that I can't get this setup when I am playing Illaoi. Because remember, Illaoi doesn't have the good ability to go into Limit Strike. So I start off playing Teemo, so if I get a hit with him, I can go into the Illaoi combo. But if I am playing Illaoi, I can't go into it. So from here, I was like, okay, what do I need? I need one, to have Illaoi assist available, and to be playing as Teemo in order to be doing this Oki. How could I have both of those things starting with Illaoi? I can't do it by doing the tag launcher because that gets rid of your assists. And I need to have Illaoi assist on screen so that I can tag into her and instantly do her Oki. But then I remembered you can actually just hard swap and you keep your assists. And you can do this in certain combos. Teemo, you might have seen, can do his mushroom super and just hard swap into another character. And that doesn't use your assist. So then I was like, is there any way that I would be able to hard swap with Illaoi? I don't think so. I can do it off of this charge 2H, but I can't get this in a combo without using this or my assist or something. And if I use that tentacle, then it just goes into Limit Strike. And I can't find another way to get this to hit, but maybe there is one. But then I was like, wait, the tentacle. If it was anything, it would be that, right? Like, they're just in the air for so long. But even with the tentacle, you know, 2L is Teemo's fastest move, and even that is too slow, right? So then I was like, okay, well, like maybe if I hit them up with 2H and then do it, I'll be able to combo. But no, they still are in that situation where they're just on the ground. And you know, the tentacle doesn't put them into like a knockdown state. They get up instantly. So I was like, well, I can't OTG. But then I was like, wait a second. So if I do this, I still can get an OTG hit. But that's really interesting because, you know, they're not in like the crumple state that they're in certain moves that allows you to OTG super easily, you know? But then I was like, so what happens if I do an OTG hitbox? And what happens is it actually does OTG, which blew my mind. I was like, dude, no way. And that means that even while playing Illaoi, I can do a whole combo and get Limit Strike for Tentacle Illaoi Super without them being able to burst it. I mean, obviously they can burst earlier, but they can't burst and then waste my meter, you know? So that's awesome to me that you can do that. That's like it's such a tight window too. Like, you'll do it commonly and then you'll just miss it, or you'll be too far away. You also have to make sure you're decently close, because if you do it too far away, like everything will hit, but you won't be close enough to get the OTG hitbox. And this does like a good amount of damage. Like the corner route that I do with Illaoi actually does less damage than this. I did that just so you guys could see, like, I don't know an extension I could use with Teemo, but you know, in this other version, I am using my assist. So I wanted the damage to, like, you know, reflect that. So you guys weren't like, oh, but in one of these you use your assist and in the other you don't use your assist. No, I use my assist in both of them. Some other cool things about this are, you guys have probably noticed, but when you do this, they are actually out of the corner. And you know, Illaoi does have a cross-up 1J1H. Yeah, she has a cross-up J1H. So as they're waking up, you can actually side swap. I'm like, they'll probably be able to react to that. Another thing you might have seen is that because they're outside of the corner, certain tentacles will hit like opposite directions, you know? Because they're in the middle, they're like, ooh. So I'm like, there's something that I could probably do with that, with like doing an ambiguous cross up where they're on one side and then they get hit back to the other side. I don't know. I'm still experimenting, but I just have this right now. And one more thing I want to point out, you might think it's just like using a lot of resource. You know, you're like, oh, you have to use your assist and then you do Tentacle Super. But one of the amazing things about Tentacle Super, in my opinion, is while you're using it, you're recharging your assist. So in my mind, I'm like, there's not really any benefit in saving your assist for Tentacle Super Oki. Like there is some, but you're going to get it back during the super, you know? Anyway, that is just a cool bit of tech that I found with Illaoi and Teemo. Let me know what you guys thought about it in the comments. If you thought it was stupid or if you thought it was badass, I will leave you with this TOD that I have that does so much fucking damage. Yeah, okay. Bye guys.